Hello, boys and girls. So I am back again doing subtraction today. So we did addition on Monday, but today we're going to do some subtraction. And subtraction is a little bit harder than what we're used to because, and I think I've said this before, where normally during the day we're constantly counting up and we're constantly counting things, but rarely are we counting down and we're like counting and we're taking things away. And so that's what we're going to practice today. And we have a few ways to think about subtraction. And we have a few ways of thinking about the difference of two numbers. And again, just like yesterday, we are only going to focus on the numbers 0 through 9. And the reason is, no, I think we're going to get bigger than that because we're going to talk about regrouping today too. So when I talk about subtraction, all that means is that we have a number and we're just going to take some things away. But we want to do that in a way that we're thinking of fact families and we're thinking of number facts. So with all of the addition things that we have in mind and all of the number families that we have in mind, we are going to add in some more concepts. And what I mean by that is this. Let's say that I have the number 7 minus 5. Well, yesterday we did a lot of addition, and in our addition we were talking about if we had doubles and we had 7 plus 2, these were 2 away, and we kept saying those were 2 away, then that's what our mind is telling us. 7 and 5 on a number line, if I'm backing up, if I have 7 and I'm taking 5 away, there is just 2 left. Now, this subtraction works in many different ways. We can actually take 7 and we can take away 5. We can count down on our touch points. We can think about having 7 objects and taking 5 away. We can count 7 and we take 5 away. We're left with 2. But we can also think about it on the number line, where if we have a number line and it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it's like this, I like to think of it as, well, how far away are 5 and 7? 1, 2, they're just 2 away. And so in the same way that we talked about it yesterday, you're going to see math skills overlapping a lot. Yesterday we talked about 7 and 5, and those two numbers are 2 away from each other, which is why the doubles rule could work. We would do 7, 14, 14, 13, right? If we were doing adding, well, that actually, yeah, 13. But if we were doing subtraction, we would still do the same thing. If they're just 2 away, then the answer is 2 because 7 and 5 are 2 away, okay? So we're going to be thinking of subtraction in several different ways because we're trying to make that transition. We're trying to make that jump from touch points and number lines and all those to make it more mental math and make it more math where it sinks into our brains. Let's say that we have 9 minus 3. In my mind, I know that if I take 9 minus just plain 1, it's just going to be 9, 8, okay? But then if I back it up 2 more, it's going to be 9, 8, 7, 6, okay? So I'm also thinking about this. If I have 3, and then all the way to 9 on the number line, how far away are they? I can count all the way over, and I can figure out from 3 all the way to 9, there are 6 numbers between the two. I can think about 3, 6, and 9 are all part of a number family. So that no matter what, even if I have 9 minus 6, 9 and 6 are only 3 away. So if you'll notice, these numbers are all belonging to the same family. So we talked about this before as being number families, okay? And so we're thinking about that in the same way again, because again, subtraction is a little bit harder to recognize than that simple addition, where that addition kind of comes kind of second nature. Subtraction doesn't always come really easily. So we'd like to think about the fact families. So again, when we have 9, 3, and 6, or 9, 6, and 3, so those all are going to stick together, okay? In the same way that if I have 6 and 3, my answer is going to be 9, okay? So that's why we call those the fact families, because they stick together, okay? So now let's do a couple more, and then we're going to talk about the regrouping. What if I had like 7 minus 4, okay? Again, we're going to try to think about our fact families. if I am looking at 7 and 4, I've got to think, well, how far apart are those on the number line? How far away are those? Or another way I can think about it is 4 and 8 are almost doubles. So if it's 4 and 8, we're not quite there yet. We're at 7. So I'm going to take one away, and that would give us 3. Okay. But more accurately and more, something that would be more realistic for you to remember is that 7, 4, and 3 are part of a number family. Okay. Or a fact family. So that if I were to take 3 plus 4, I would get 7. Or if I would take 7 minus 3, I would get 4. Okay, so all of those, no matter which way you rearrange it, those guys belong together. So that we don't have to worry about using our touch points, we can think about what were my fact families. So subtraction is a little bit harder because we have to think about our fact families, and there are fewer tricks that we can do, but we can still think about how far apart are they. But let's review a little bit of the regrouping. So on your sheet today, you're going to see fact families that you're going to practice just kind of over and over and over again, which ones go with which numbers. But then you're also going to see some regrouping, and let's practice what that looks like. I have the number 12 minus 6, okay? Some of you might look at this and say, well, 6 plus 6 equals 12. Well, so I know that my answer would have to be 6 because it would be 6 and 6 would be 12. If you didn't recognize that right away, totally fine. Okay, there are two ways we can do this. We can think about 12 and 6. We can take the whole number together and just say, well, what is 12 minus 6? And we can count down on our touch points. Or we're going to look at this. We're going to separate our ones place and our tens place. Let's look at our ones place. I have 2, and I'm trying to take away 6. If I have 2, can I take 6 things away? No. So I'm going to go over to my tens place, and I'm going to ask, and I'm going to say, look, I know you have one whole group of 10, which means you have 10. Can I borrow just 1? And he's going to say, absolutely. So instead of having 1, he now has no groups of 10, but this guy has a whole group of 10. Okay? He's got the spirit of love. Now we have 12, which again would have been simple to start off with, but we now have 12 minus 6, and now we're back to where we started, which is 6 plus 6 equals 12, so there's a doubles, which means we put the answer down here, okay? A more appropriate, I guess, or an easier one to actually show that, let me do a bigger number. Let's do 54 minus 18. Let's do that one. This looks really big, right? But can we do it? Of course we can. Where do we always start, no matter what? When we walk in the place value house, we always start in the ones column. So in the ones, I have 4, I'm trying to take away 8, and I can't do that, so I'm going to have to go over to my tens place. He's got 5 groups of 10. He can spare one, right? So we're going to take out this, and what we have left is 4. And so instead of having 1 here, we're going to put it right here, which turns that into 14, okay? I'm thinking about 14 minus 8. And again, later on, the better you get at subtraction and addition and all of those and those fact families, you'll be able to recognize that quickly. Right now at 14 and 8, there aren't any quick patterns that we can see, and so we can rely on our touch points if we need to, if you don't have that mental math ready yet. So we see 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Okay? Now, the way that we can check that is to see the opposite of subtraction is addition. So I can say 8 and 6 is 8 and 6. Well, that's 2 away. So I can say 8, 16, 15, 14, because that was going smaller, and it is 14. So that's a little checker for you. Now I have 4 minus 1. 4 minus 1 is 3. So my answer is 36. So on your sheet today, you have some fact family practice, which are the common fact families that you're going to see often. So you're going to have your fact family practice, and you're going to have some regrouping practice. Again, both of those skills are just to make sure that you have those ready going into second grade, because once you get into second grade, you're going to do a lot of regrouping, and you're going to be moving into the hundreds and the thousands place. So I want to make sure you have this ready so that you can be ready and totally good to go going into second grade. So if you have any questions, again, you can rewatch this video, or you can let me and Ms. Romany know, and we will do a personal Zoom with you one-on-one so that you can make sure we get your skills. All right, y'all have a great afternoon.